You're listening to Satyavani,
the voice of the APJ Satya University, India's first liberal arts and meta university.
For further information, please visit our website university.apj.edu/. university.apj.edu/.
This is Radio Satyavani. Now we present a radio documentary, I'm a Winner. The program has been produced jointly by two young APJ Satya University students of journalism, Eshita Tiwari and Priyanka Mukherji. I'm a Winner.
Nothing around, nothing going. You're just levitating randomly. You have no idea what's going on. You're pathless, aimless, directionless, and in total useless.
Every time when I used to hear these people, the suicidal thoughts came to my mind, and I always used to think that either I should slit my hand and to sit at my terrace, and when I'm sitting there alone, I used to think that whether I should jump from here or not.
According to World Health Organization, India recorded the highest rate of major depression in the world at 36%. It is going through unprecedented social and economic change, which often brings depression in its wake. The global study, based on interviews with about 90,000 people, shows that women are twice as likely to suffer depression as men. WHO says by 2020, depression will be the second leading cause of world disability. And by 2030, it is expected to be the largest contributor to disease burden.
That was an excerpt from a WHO report published in 2011. Hello, I am Eshita Tiwari, second year student of BJMC at the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, APJ Satya University in the Indian city of Gurgaon. In May 2014, along with my classmate Priyanka Mukherji, I set out to find out whether the situation regarding depression has changed in India since the publication of the 2011 WHO report. In 2011, the report claimed that nearly 10 million people in India were depressed. During our investigation, what we discovered was quite disturbing.
Depression is increasing everywhere in the world, and the figures that you're given, it is probably an understatement. So the proportion is even higher. There's a social context to depression, and people do not come out to seek help. A lot of times doctors will prescribe antidepressants without telling patient that these are antidepressants because of this stigma. About 1 in 4 people will have a major mental illness sometime in their life, so whether it is childhood or adult age or in older people. So the fast pace of life, not having enough time for relaxation, not spending time with family, work pressures, not sleeping properly, the increasing prevalence of people using alcohol and drugs is causing more and more depression.
Indeed, it's causing more depression. That was Dr. Vipul Rastogi from Medanta, one of India's largest multi-super specialty institutes of medical sciences. An associate consultant in behavioral neurology and psychiatry, Dr. Rastogi has also worked as a consultant psychiatrist with the National Health Service of the UK. Now let's hear what Professor T.M. Lerman from the Anthropology Department of Stanford University, California has to say. In an article, Is the World More Depressed? For New York Times, Professor Lerman writes,
I've been in and out of India for years, but on a recent visit to Chennai in the state of Tamil Nadu, it seemed that suicide and depression had become part of the social conversation in a way that was once taboo. Rangaswamy Thara, a psychiatrist and director of the Schizophrenia Research Foundation there, describes this shift. Someone fails his exams, so he commits suicide. He is rebuked by his father, so he commits suicide. At the same time, there seem to be many more people in Chennai seeking help for emotional and psychiatric problems than there were 10 years ago, Dr. Thara said.
That was an excerpt from the New York Times article by Professor Lerman published on 24th May 2014. The rise of depression in India has been covered by the Indian media too. Writing for the Times of India, Nikita Mehta says in a report published on 14th May,
Depression is the top cause of illness and disability among those aged between 10 and 19, while suicide is the third most common cause of death in the age group, according to the World Health Organization. Studies have shown that half of those who develop mental disorders first show symptoms by the age of 14, and if adolescents with mental health problems get the care they need, it can prevent deaths and lifelong sufferings, according to WHO. More than 2,000 people under 14 years committed suicide in India in 2012. The highest rate of suicides was in the ages between 14 and 29 years. One of the top 3 reasons of the suicide was mental and other illnesses.
There is strong evidence to suggest that depression is a huge problem in India. So let's try to understand, what is depression? How does it feel to be depressed? And how to define it?
A one-line definition would be like, you're totally done. All the doors are closed. And at times, it feels like, picking up any random thing and throwing at the face of anyone who's actually trying to advise or who's trying to, showing that he's helping you. Because at the end of the day, half of the people are just, trying to entertain themselves out of the crap and the shit you're going through. Doors are totally closed and you have no options left. And then comes a stage, then you are like in space, nothing around, nothing going, you're just levitating randomly, you have no idea what's going on, you're pathless, aimless, directionless, and in total useless.
That was a young student who would like to remain anonymous. The WHO says that the average age of depression in India is about 32 years compared to 19 years in China. Depression has been described as a mental disorder characterized by sadness, loss of interest or pleasure, feelings of guilt or low self-worth, disturbed sleep or appetite, feelings of tiredness, and poor concentration. But is it genetic?
Depression is a complex interaction of social factors and the genetic factors. So if we say that our family members have depression, then we have more chances of developing depression. The rate is about 10%. So if one parent has depression, then there's a likelihood of 10% increase in the prevalence of depression in us.
Dr. Vipul Rastogi, there are different types of depressive conditions. Symptoms can range from relatively minor, but they can still create a very serious situation. So, it is helpful to be aware of the range of conditions and their specific symptoms. Dr. Saurabh Mehrotra, a consultant psychiatrist at the Medanta Division of Mental Health in Gurgaon, believes there are various symptoms of depression.
Depression is characterized by feelings of low mood. There is lack of interest in activities which were previously pleasurable. There is decrease in the energy levels felt by the individual. There is irritability, negative thoughts, pessimistic thoughts, lack of confidence, and associated usually with disturbances in sleep and appetite, could be either increased or decreased. These are the usual symptoms of depression.
Usual symptoms of depression. That was Dr. Saurabh Mehrotra. Psychiatrists like Dr. Mehrotra say that when you have depression, it interferes with daily life and causes pain for both you and those who care about you. According to experts, depression is a common but serious illness. Adolescence can be a very turbulent and difficult time, even for the well-adjusted teens. Depression strikes teenagers and adults alike and can have far-reaching implications when young people suffer from emotional difficulties.
Very close friend of mine. We've been together since probably 3rd or 4th grade, and we really grew deep in 6th grade. And then on, we were so close, and then suddenly her demise in 11th, that did hit me a lot, and it even affected my board results, and a lot of things happened. I was like totally deep locked into a trunk. I had no way out. I had nothing to do. Just banging at the door, let me out, let me out, let me out. And then I was like a zombie, but sub-zero, dead, totally sub-zero.
Depression is a common experience. We've all felt depressed when a friend has cold-shouldered us, broken hearts, cheating in relationships, misunderstandings in marriage, tussles with teenage children. Sometimes we feel down for no reason at all. But how do we actually diagnose depression?
There is a set criteria for depression by the World Health Organization. The WHO has defined a criteria for depression. It requires a set of symptoms to be present. The World Health Organization says that in order to call this depression, the symptoms need to be present at least for 2 weeks, for most part of the 2 weeks. If the symptoms are present for more than 2 weeks, or what we refer to as pervasive symptoms, then it becomes syndromal depression, which requires treatment.
Dr. Saurabh Mehrotra, one can start feeling depressed about anything and everything, be it a huge loss like a demise of a loved one or a petty fight with friends. Here's what she felt depressed about.
So the family crisis that I was in was that my brother was diagnosed with an end-stage renal disease. That's basically when your kidneys stop functioning and you need a regular life support system to sustain your life. So my experience with that was that when my brother was diagnosed and the doctors told us that there is no way out, the first feeling was, of course, frustration, desperation, helplessness, all of those things. And then the feelings come about what can you do about it? Why are the doctors not doing anything about it? All those feelings, and of course there's the family to support, yourself you have to support. So that becomes overwhelming when you know that anything that you do is not going to change things.
A young student sharing her experience of depression. According to the WHO study, while around 9% of people in India reported having an extended period of depression within their lifetime, nearly 36% suffered from what is called major depressive episode. Youngsters recall that they have done bizarre things when they were depressed, and some of those things were life-threatening.
In my teenage days, I wasn't among the good-looking lot of girls, and I was healthy also. And so I had inferiority complex all the time. Although I was good in studies, but that wasn't the point, because I was not good. Overall, I was not good, and even I didn't have good friends. Other girls, they had boyfriends as well as, but I was the lonely person in my school. Even my family, my friends, whosoever was there, and my mom, every time they used to tell me that continuously, they're forcing me to lose weight, do this, do that. That was really disgusting, and that was really pissing me off. And every time when I used to hear these people, the suicidal thoughts came to my mind. And I always used to think that either I should slit my hand and to sit at my terrace, and when I'm sitting there alone, I used to think that whether I should jump from here or not. But that was also a part of my thought only.
A young student sharing her deep thoughts. There is a popular quote by someone unknown: depression is like a war, either you win or die trying. However, if there is illness, there is cure. Dr. Saurabh Mehrotra from Medanta.
Method of treatment for depression is a combination of what we refer to as medication or pharmacotherapy and what we refer to as the psychological treatment or psychotherapy. It has been shown that the milder forms of depression may benefit only from therapy. The therapy which is used is known as cognitive behavior therapy, and for milder forms of depression, it is the only treatment that is required. As depression becomes more severe, what we refer to as the moderate or more severe forms of depression, we require a combination of medication along with therapy. Medication along with therapy is known to improve the outcome much better as compared to medication alone. The medications ultimately improve or increase the level of the neurotransmitter or chemical that is reduced, and cognitive behavior therapy or psychotherapy works on the thoughts of the individual. So that is the treatment of depression, which is very effective.
Dr. Saurabh Mehrotra. Medicines, doctors and therapies are the direct options to transport yourself out of the doleful world of depression. However, meet this young student who found a different way.
When you come to the point in life when you have to accept situations, that's when you find your strength, and that's where you find your way out of depression. And well, I would say that to come out of that phase, what you really need is good human connections, friends, family. Without them, you are just alone and you cannot come out of the mess. So when you are in a phase, any of whoever is listening to this, if you are in a crisis, please go out and seek help from anybody who's close to you, any friend who's willing to listen, any family member, and I'm definitely gonna assure you that you're gonna come out of it. It's because I did, and I'm happy that I have some people who I can trust.
According to Dr. Vipul Rastogi, in India, people think going to a psychiatrist will bring social stigma. This leads to either no treatment or prolonged treatment.
So when you're treating people with depression, the social stigma definitely is there. Patients come and tell us that, what will my family say? They don't want me to be here. The medicines are addictive, they're sleep inducing, which is not right. The medicines have changed, the science has progressed. So medicines can now be tailored to your needs. So there are medicines which cause sedation, but there are enough medicines which do not cause sedation and have very less side effects. So the patients who have this feeling, we try and dispel this belief. The second thing is, when you're treating people for depression, sometimes the anxiety goes up, and people can have suicidal thoughts even with or without treatment. So that has to be taken care of. People taking illicit substances and alcohol, that also needs to be looked after.
Dr. Vipul Rastogi, if you don't talk about your feelings because of the fear of someone calling you dramatic or attention seeker, then you have a problem at hand. Doctors say you must talk about your problems. Unfortunately, only 20% of depressed teens are appropriately diagnosed and treated. While diagnosing a mood disorder, adolescents can be at a disadvantage. However, if left untreated, depression can have serious and sometimes long-term consequences that can affect every aspect of one's life.
Untreated depression leads to hopelessness, feelings of helplessness, and depression is the cause of suicide in approximately 90% of the individuals. Or what I'm saying is that 90% of people who commit suicide have depression, which probably has not been treated.
Dr. Saurabh Mehrotra. After talking to so many experts, this program has come to this conclusion that depression is treatable. So all of these dangerous consequences of untreated depression can be avoided. In an American College Health Association report, students cited depression and anxiety as among the top impediments to academic performance. 64% of young adults who are no longer in college are not attending college because of the mental health related reasons. Depression, bipolar disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder are the primary diagnoses of these young adults. Dr. Vipul Rastogi sees the same trends in India while treating his patients. He believes it's time to bring balance into our lives.
We are living more and more fast life, and we are not giving enough time for relaxation. To have a balanced life, we have to see life as a weighing scale. So on one end you have stress, on the other one is relaxation. So they have to be in equal proportion. Depression happens when the stress side becomes much heavier than relaxation. So again, to balance life, the stress either has to be reduced or relaxation has to be increased. Most of the people who come to see us say that the stress is not under their control, but increasing relaxation is definitely under their control. So that is how you manage life and manage stress. There is no way that stress will ever go away because it is always increasing, but we can always manage it much better.
Dr. Vipul Rastogi, balanced life. Almost 73% of students living with a mental health condition experienced a mental health crisis. Yet, about 34% reported that their college did not know about their crisis. Colleges across the country have reported large increases in enrollment. At the same time, college counseling centers have also observed an increase in the prevalence and severity of mental health issues experienced by students and an increase in the number of students taking psychotropic medications. At this juncture, this is what Dr. Saurabh Mehrotra recommends the schools and colleges to do.
One of the things which one needs to do is educate. Awareness about the fact that there is depression is the most important thing. Even in the metropolitan cities, we see that people who come for treatment of depression have been suffering from depression for months or even years. So the fact that what they are going through is depression, and depression is an eminently treatable illness, is something which people need to understand. So awareness about the symptoms of depression and the fact that treatment is available is very, very important.
Depression does not only harm the person who is depressed, it harms everyone who is surrounded by it. This is how it troubles the society as a whole.
Depression causes negativity. So if you're looking at a team environment, if one person is very negative in outlook, so you will see that the team efficiency and the team profits, they all can suffer. Obviously, in the home environment, having a negative father or a mother who's very depressed can affect the children as well. So they can affect the child's studies, how much they progress, and their careers. Finally, the relationship between husband and wife will get compromised because of depression.
Dr. Vipul Rastogi. Depression is treatable. Early diagnosis and treatment are essential for teenagers with depression to live normal lives. Teens who exhibit symptoms of depression should be referred to and evaluated by a mental health professional who specializes in this. As suggested by an expert earlier in this program, having a balanced lifestyle is one of the most important features of getting it right. You can have it by eating healthy, sleeping adequately, and staying away from any drugs. Importantly, youngsters like me need to find ways to handle stress in the best possible way. Experts are united in saying that talking or sharing is crucial in shedding some of the baggage. Talking to a friend, talking to a mentor, and talking to your trusted ones such as parents is one of the best therapies. Almost all psychiatrists agree that having a positive attitude towards life is the key to your balance. Can you do that, my dear friend? Strike a balance in your life? Come on, I know that you can be positive. I know that you are a winner. Say, I am a winner.
I'm a winner. You are listening to this radio documentary presented by Eshita Tiwari and Priyanka Mukherji, students of BJMC second year at the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, APJ Satya University.
You're listening to Satyavani,
The voice of the APJ Satya University, India's first liberal arts and meta university.
For further information, please visit our website university.apj.edu/university.apj.edu/.